Welcome back to Finding Your Indie. I'm Bonnie Paulson, and you are here today because you want to know if this question that everybody's asking right now, Facebook ads for authors, is it a worth it or is it a waste of money? This is going around a lot right now. People are asking if Facebook ads are worth it, if AMS ads are worth it, if marketing in general is worth it. And I'm going to say, first of all, yes. Right out of the gate, yes. Here's the thing. Before we even get into all of the things and my breakdowns and why and where and who, I want you to understand that all marketing is worth it. And right now, in today's environment, it is pay to play. There is no way out of it. I'm sorry, but there's not. Pay to play could either be with money, or it can be with time, or it can be with both. But I'm going to literally tell you that you cannot get out of this by just publishing a book and walking away. That's not the way it works. You have to spend time on TikTok, spend time on Facebook, spend time on Snapchat or Twitter or X, whatever. It doesn't even matter. All of the things, you still have to do newsletters. You still have to do promos. Like, you have to do these things. You have to do ads. Unfortunately, that's the way that it is right now. 5-10 years ago, not so much. You did not have to play this like massive game. But today you do. And so let's start with Facebook ads. I'll get into AMS ads, like all of that, maybe in a week or two when it's my next go round. We'll cover maybe BookBub. We'll cover other promotions and stuff. But ultimately, I want you to understand that yes, it is worth it. However, we're going to get into why and how the times when it can be a waste of your time and money. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what it is that we're seeing out there. Right now, there's a lot of glitches with Facebook. We get it. Like, there's glitches all the time. They're updating their interests. They're updating their AI all the time, which is infuriating because it also messes with our accounts. I have seen where some clients and even some just friends where I've been checking on their stuff, their ad sets are turned on. And we didn't turn them on, or they didn't turn them on, and Facebook just turned them on, and suddenly you've spent $150 or $200 in one day and you didn't do it. There's that happening. They're also running their bots at random times and turning off an ad that is a successful ad that's been running for 6 months and it's doing very well, and then it just randomly turns it off or rejects it. Have you had that happen where there's no reason for it to be rejected, but it's rejected? Even some of the reasons that they have, like, for instance, I have a sweet romance for matchmakers, and they shut me down because I said I was political. There was nothing political. So there was like all kinds of things like that. It's infuriating. I get it. It's infuriating. However, I'm sure you've wondered if Facebook ads can still be a good investment, and they can. You are ultimately renting space from them, just like you would be from AMS, just like you are when you have your books up in Kindle Unlimited or on Nook or on Google Play. We're renting space, right? Like it's like our retailers. It is what it is. It's not a big deal. But we just have to understand why we have pros and cons for each of these and what we can do about them. Okay, so first of all, if you're new to author world or anything in general, we're going to talk a little bit about what Facebook ads are and how you might use them in the author industry. We have lots of videos on this stuff on our channel, so go ahead and check it out. We also have a lot of free resources at our findingyourindie.com/grow-here page. We have a lot of freebies on there as well, lots and lots. Okay, so Facebook ads are a way to reach people on Instagram or on the Meta platform, like the Facebook platform in their feeds. You can touch on the right column. Gosh, in Messenger, you can even hit these up inside of like Facebook stories, Facebook or Instagram Reels. There's all kinds of stuff. The profile feed is the ones that we prefer here at Finding Your Indie, because they're lower cost. They're more likely to get someone's attention when they're scrolling, and they have a much higher reach. Okay, and usually you can make them more organic looking. It's really hard to make a right column ad look like an organic post. So there's things also like things to consider, like your images. You can do multiple images, single images. You can do videos. You can do carousels. There's lots of options. Okay. One of the reasons why I really like Facebook ads is because it's more controllable than, say, that's my rooster, than say Google ads. Google ads are controllable, but you can't direct them to digital products, which is hard for authors unless you're selling paperbacks. So I really like Facebook. Now, AMS ads, you can actually super target down, but you're fighting for very specific impressions. So they only have a certain amount of, I guess we'll call it inventory. The inventory in AMS is where they can see things, right? Like how many people see things, how many people open up their tablet a day, whatever. But almost everybody opens up Facebook or Instagram or gets notifications. It's a much smaller inventory on AMS than it is on Facebook and Instagram, okay? Again, this also ties in line with TikTok as well. Except TikTok is a little bit higher CPM than most of these others, and you're not really guaranteed to sell anything on TikTok in the ads department, because you have to pay a lot more, and they don't encourage you to take them off site. Like they want you to do like a shop. They'll let you, but they don't encourage it. Okay, why should you consider Facebook ads? So this isn't really pros and cons, but this is why I want you to consider this as we go into like setting up your first ad, the pros of it, and then we'll hit in the pros and stuff, and I'll give you some real life examples of both situations, and we'll go from there, okay? So number one, I want you to really think about the vast audience on Facebook. This year, we are hitting some things which are weird. They've been messing with AI, which, I mean, we're going to see that more and more. They've been messing with their targeting. They've been messing with cost of things as well as what you can and can't advertise. I mean, this is an election year. We also have where they're like, hey, if you're like in real estate, we don't want you, we want you to identify that, okay? They also have a lot of rules in place that I see getting broken left and right, but that if you're like a really good upstanding account, you can't break them. It's really weird. So anyways, it's fine. But the audience is massive on Facebook, and you can identify by, there's so many things that you can actually break down how you want to be targeted on Facebook. The next one is what you can actually target. I really like the specific demographics, which follows into that line of breaking down your audiences that you want to target. You can target by interest. You can target by sex, by where you're at, job, how much you make. If you're a mom, like there's so many different things that you can actually break it down. And that's terrific, not just for authors, but that's really terrific for any other type of product that you might be trying to sell. But for authors is where we're staying right here. Okay. Also, the flexibility is huge inside of setting your budget. So you can actually set it from a campaign level or from an ad set level. Inside of the ad set level is where I prefer to be. I do not like CBO at all because I don't feel like they actually test. I use my ad sets for testing, and the CBO actually forces you to do like an ad set out, an external ad set test. So like, oh, this ad set's doing better than this ad set, it's going to get shut off. I don't love that because I might be testing them for different things. So that's my personal opinion with regards to the budget, but it is flexible. Once you start it, you can actually drop it down to as low as, I've had it as low as $3, but sometimes they don't let you. Sometimes the lowest is like $5. So, and then when we head into setting up like your first ad, like there's some things that you have to have in place, right? These are some, I think these are pros, but they can also be cons. Like for instance, you have to have an author page. You have to have a page. You have to have a page. You cannot run Facebook ads to your profile. You can't do it. I don't know why you would want to do it anyway, but you have to have a page. And you also have a minimum, right? Like to this page, you can only have 250 active ads to this page. This includes boosted posts. Now, if you're like, okay, I know I'm going to be running 250 over here, start up a couple of passion pages that link, that lead back to the author page, or that are just really very specific, like my YA book boyfriend or something like that, right? Like something really like straightforward. The meta's there. This is exactly what it is. And then you can have another 250 ads. Plus you can do some testing. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you want to understand your Facebook ad manager. Whether you have it set up from your personal ad account or from a business suite, you need to be familiar with it, like just kind of like a rough overview of what you're familiar with. Facebook is not clear. Like, let's be honest, like it is not clear inside the Meta platform. There's nothing clear about it, and they change stuff all the time. I think they have people on staff just to see if they can mess things up. So it is not the clearest. I do have some tangos on our website that actually show you how to add people and kind of like the brief overview of what Facebook dashboard looks like. I personally prefer to have a separate business like ad account, a business suite account, because I've had my personal profile shut down. And that was, if you've seen any of my videos previously talking about this, that was really rough. And I didn't have access to anything else. So that personal Facebook account, profile account is done. Like I don't use it at all. I've shut it down. Like I can't use it, but I can use my business account. Okay, then what you want to make sure you understand is what's your objective? When I say objective, I mean what is your the purpose for, let's say, starting your first ad, which is kind of what we're talking about, right? You have to have a page, have to make sure that you understand your ad manager. For each ad set or each campaign, I guess, for each campaign, you really need to understand what it is you're doing with that. Are you trying to do lead gens, which I'm going to do a video coming up on how to do like successful lead gen ads? Are you trying to run traffic ads? Are you trying to run sales ads? Do not run sales ads to your Amazon landing page. Don't do it. It will be it's a complete waste of time. I have another video up exactly why and how you should be using traffic ads. You should understand what your objective is. If you only have your books in Kindle Unlimited, you need to be using traffic ads, period. That's it. If you have your books up on your direct store, this is where you need to ask yourself, am I running traffic ads because I'm also trying to reach other retailers, or am I trying to get sales specifically on my store, and has my pixel been warmed up? If your pixel has not been warmed up, I don't ever recommend like just jumping into sales ads, but that's me. Other ad people say do it, and I have never had good experience with it. So I always use traffic ads to warm up my pixel. $5 a day, 10 days. It's nice and warmed up. It's had enough people there to actually like make the pixel understand who's supposed to be there. So, I mean, let's be honest, we should be controlling our targeting, right? Okay. If you've seen any of my videos, you know how I feel about that. Okay, then what I'm going to talk to you about a little bit is your target audience. What you want to do is you want to define your audience. This is really hard if you don't know who your audience is. Do you know who reads your books? If you're a romance writer and you are adamant that you don't write romances, you need to step back and actually figure out what it is that you do. Okay, because romance readers are significantly different than readers of like psychological thrillers, okay? And inside of your romance reader audience, that is even, I mean, they're vastly different. You have readers who really want the nice, sweet romances, right? With the heartfelt warmings and cookies and cream, right? And then you have the other audience who wants the dark, the dirty, the mafia, the other things that you can't really put into a YouTube video, right? Like you have these things, and then you have a whole range in between. You have horse lovers, you have shifter lovers, you have fantasy lovers, you have so many different options. Are you like, do you know your product, and do you know who's reading your product? If you don't understand that, you should not be marketing. I'm being completely blunt here. If you do not understand your product, you cannot market it. You can't. Okay, not that you can't, it's that you shouldn't, because you're just wasting money, dude. And if you want to waste money, I will give you my Venmo access, okay? So you can send it to me. I will help you waste it. But that right there is like one of my biggest things, like understand your audience and understand your product. Okay, but once you understand who your audience is, it's really easy to go in and define your audience based on what they like, based on where they are, based on their age, based on their gender, like all different kinds of things, okay? Then what I want you to do is I want you to think about what your landing page experience is. Like, is your landing page, let's say it's to Amazon. We're going to focus on Amazon. Let's say you're going to Amazon and you have the best audience already picked out. You know your audience, you know your product, but your landing page says one thing and your ads say something else. So if your ads are like, this is an awesome, sweet second chance romance, and you come over here and your landing page mentions nothing about second chance romance, it's focusing on family saga and family rivalry, you have created a disconnect, okay? So that is the most important thing for you to do. Understand your audience and make sure that there is cohesion between your ads and your landing page, because you do not want to lose them. Something grabbed them here that they did not see there, and your conversion will drop, okay? Conversion is important, I promise. All right, so the pros of using Facebook ads. Number one is visibility. You have increased exposure for your books, for your brand, for releases, it's great. It's a great way to get in front of people. And there's lots of times where people might see something and not click it the first time, but maybe it's like 5 or 6 times later and they actually do, oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to click on that. I wanted to see that, okay? Another one is your targeting options. Again, we've already said this. The targeting options inside Facebook are tremendous. You can actually reach the right readers, even creating lookalike audiences from your page. If it's been an active page and you have your stuff targeted and your message very clear, that can be phenomenal. And it can actually expand your reach of maybe only 400 or 500 people on your page out to 2.8 million, 6 million. Okay. So it's actually really great for your targeting. Another one is your analytics. The analytics inside Facebook are really good. There are some holes, but overall, it tells you your gender, like the gender that the demographics are hitting, best performances on clicks, where the countries are, best time of day to where you're getting best spend, like all kinds of stuff like that. It's awesome. And when you have direct stores connected with your pixel, you get even more data, which is super, super helpful. And then I think the last one that I really, really love about Facebook ads is that it's cost effective. You can control your spending. However, they'll spend your money. I always recommend CPC, like hands down CPC every time, over CPM. The CPM sometimes is where you have to start, and that's fine, but it's more expensive with CPM, especially with some of these audiences, than it is with CPC. So those are my 4 favorite pros of Facebook ads. So let's talk about, I only have 3 cons for using Facebook ads. Number 1 is the learning curve. This can be pretty complex. And I have a lot of clients that come to me and they're like, I know how to run them. I just don't have the time to run them, because it does. That's number 2 is time consuming. But let's go back to the learning curve. It can be complex. And then they are constantly changing things, and the data, sometimes it's hard to find. They block things or reject things and you can't figure out why. And again, they're making changes all the time. Like right now they've got you can use the dynamic without stating that it's dynamic, or you can't use the dynamic without stating that it's dynamic. Like there's lots of stuff going on in there. So yeah, the learning curve can be a little bit more frustrating, and that can make it really hard, because not only are you having to learn how to set up an ad, but you have to figure out if that ad is working. Another one, like we said, is the time consuming. This one requires regular monitoring and tweaking from most edges. But something to remember with Facebook ads is once you get them going, you can usually step back and let them work. Let them do their thing. They need about 5 to 7 days usually to see if they're actually making anything, especially if you're using attribution links from Amazon, because Amazon's attribution link data is 7 to 14 days out. Facebook gives you a little bit more clear information, but it's still not the clearest because you don't know what you don't know. You also have to give them a few days to actually start to work. Okay, another one is no guarantees. Of course, there is no guarantee with Facebook ads, but if you know what you're doing and you have patience, it's a lot easier to not guarantee your success, but to kind of say, yeah, I have better odds because I know these things, right? I'm applying these things. So I have a little bit better odds with regards to finding success. And then it actually helps you identify what your levels of success are. Okay, so let's talk about some real life examples. I had a client who started with me about a year ago. And this client was making, this was 19 months ago. Okay. So it was 19 months ago. This client started with me, and this client was making $49 a month. And that was fine, but this client was dumping about $1,500 a month into all kinds of stuff, ads, all kinds of stuff. And the $49 a month was gross, obviously. And this client came to me and was like, I don't know what else to do. I'm really close to quitting. And I was like, okay, I understand. Let's go over what you've got. So we had to do a whole rundown. This is your product. We actually had to unpublish about 5 or 6 books because they didn't fit. And I really feel like that was limiting this client. And then we went in, and after we did that, we actually linked things. We fixed some blurbs. We fixed, we dove into it, right? This is what we have to fix. You need to fix your marketing. You need to fix your newsletters here. You need to make sure that the engagement is up on your page. You got to do these things, dude. So once we did that, it was about 2 months later that we actually were in a position to where we could actually start the ads. I mean, that's how rough it was. Once we started the ads and we did the targeting and stuff, it took another 3 to 4 weeks for the ads to actually start to make back the money, number 1. And number 2, get the page going to where the page was helping. So it was circular. It was cyclical, I guess. It was the ads would start, we would get new people that it would target correctly invited to the page, and then the ad cost went down, right? Because the more engaged your page, the cheaper your CPC. So we were on this cycle, and I understand this author was getting really frustrated. They were like, I'm losing money. And I was like, I understand you're losing money. Hang in there. Finally, after we had this thing, so after 3 months of cleaning everything up, getting the back matter done, everything we had to do, we finally hit a point where instead of making $49 gross, at the end of that 3 months, this author had hit $1,200 for that third month, $1,200 gross. And I think by the end of the 7th month total that we'd been together, this client was up to $6,000. It was like $6,500 gross. Then we hit a year, and this client was at $15,000 net. So I don't want to tell you because I think when they were at 6,500 gross, I think we were at like 50% spend because we were aggressively going after the growth. And this was in a paranormal romance. This wasn't like, this wasn't, and this client had like 10 to 15 books published at the time. So there were like 3 series that like led into each other. So there was a perfect storm after we made sure everything was linked properly and the blurbs and stuff were ready. So it's not like it was like a 6-book, 1 series, like thing. Like this was actually where, and it was more of a high demand genre. So we did have some things working for us, but this client is still with me, and this client is now banging out about $27,000 to $29,000 net a month. We're slowly going up, but again, we've hit, the June slump and stuff. So that's one where we did that specifically with Facebook ads. I have not done AMS ads. I've said no, I don't think this is a good time. This one's also a wide author. So this author does not want to go into KU, which is totally fine. Like I said, which is totally fine. So in that regard, we're hitting this, and we're just doing that with just Facebook ads and with the back matter and everything that this author has set up. Okay, so that's an example. That's a really good example. I've got a lot of clients where we've taken them from X and we've made them go up to Y, like nice, big, fat numbers. But I'm going to give you some cautionary tales. I have had clients in the past where ads didn't work out. And this could be for a number of things. I had one client who we were doing really well, and then this client told me to stop spending. Like they were like super analyzing their numbers and going after it like really, really minute. And you can't do that. Okay, you can't do that. You have to let it spike, and then it's going to settle down into a plateau. And that's where you grow from, is the plateau, not the spike. I've also had authors who were hitting it viral and then came in and they were like, hey, this is how much I need to make, and I want to spend this much to get there. And it was like, whoa, you don't have your infrastructure set up. You don't have, right? So you have to make sure that you understand that ads are a role. They have a very specific role. They're not like the entire spokes of your business. Okay. You have to have everything else in place. I could tell you, I don't ever share who my clients are. I don't believe that that's important because they have privacy and I have privacy, and I don't want to give their information away, and tie in names and stuff. So, but I can tell you that my most successful authors, they view their marketing as an entire wheel. Okay. And each spoke off that wheel is important. Ads are one of them. Other marketing tools, newsletters, swaps, constant releases, all the things. They're all spokes in this wheel. And yeah, I'm a huge part of the ad part, which is great. I love that. But they also sometimes ask me, hey, what do you think about these? Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're like, no, I only want you on ads. And it's like, solid, dude, I can do that. Other ones are like, hey, I'm trying to do this whole spoke thing. What do you think? Can I get your help? And I'm like, yeah, let's run some promos. Let's do these things because this is what we have to do. Okay. I do have other people I have had people in the past who were expecting that we were going to go from X to Z and skip Y. And Y is the slow growth part of it, especially in an election year, especially in the summer, especially as we're hitting numbers of before COVID. Like there's a lot of things going on right now that are getting in the way of people's success. And if if you're not willing to like twist and turn and pivot, and you're stuck in these 99-cent releases, or you're stuck in, other things, that's going to be detrimental to your success. You cannot blame Facebook ads, AMS ads. You can't blame them for that. You cannot blame them for them only being one tool in your toolkit. Okay. Let's talk about some tips for success. So I've already told you that you need to know your audience. You got to research and understand who your readers are, dude. And if you don't know, don't do anything else until you figure that out. Another one is when you're doing ads or marketing of any kind, when people are online, they're online visually, okay? They're not going like this and scrolling and seeing the ads, dude. They're not. So you need to make sure you're using eye-catching images and or videos, okay? Once that catches their attention, then you're going to want to hit up your compelling copy. You want to make sure that you're writing clear and engaging ad text that is cohesive to your landing pages. I don't care where you're landing. I don't care where you're sending them. Make sure they are cohesive messages. And then you're going to be doing A/B testing. I think this is terrific when you have different ads and you want to see what works best. But I also think that it's important to understand what time of year you're testing in. So what I tested in February is going to be really different than what I'm testing like right now. I've got some clients who we are retesting some things because new time of year, dude. Summer, it's turning into winter on the other side of the world. We've got elections coming up. We're trying to minimize the loss of ROI, right? Like that's what we're trying to do. And we're also trying to get a piece of that Q4 spend. So there's a lot of things in place right now that I really think that we need to consider before we just jump into A/B testing, okay? Now, there are definitely alternatives to Facebook ads. If you ask me, Facebook ads are a primary ad platform. They are not a second. They can be secondary, but it's not like if you're really trying to get people to go to your specific landing pages, it's one of the more compelling. Amazon ads, fine. They're great. I mean, they'll work. They're not the best, but if you understand how to use them, check out my merch jar video. If you don't understand how to use them, you need to understand those too. They are a simpler version of Facebook ads. Like really, like, I mean, you put the ad together and then you have to go in and see, is the CPC working? Is it not working? Here's the ACOS, here's this. But ultimately, it's a lot easier to build an AMS ad than it is to build a Facebook ad. To make it spend though is a lot harder. And I'll do another video on exactly the ways that you can go about doing that. BookBub, not my favorite, dude. Not my favorite with ads. I feel like it's extremely difficult to get a consistent return. It's extremely difficult to even get a featured product listing. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I need consistency when I'm doing ads. I need consistency with regards to who it might show to, what the CPC is going to be. This up and down stuff is not my favorite. But if you like it, you do you. Organic marketing is always, always, always huge. If you have an audience already, cultivate them. Like, your community is going to be the thing that sets you apart from anything else. Your CPC game, all of that, your pay-per-click game, like all that crap is crap if you do not have a strong community. So work on your community and nothing else will hold up to what the things that you do in your organic marketing efforts. I hope that this helped. I was kind of like, what can I do? And I've been kind of seeing this all over in forums and stuff that I'm in, and people are like, is Facebook ads just a waste of time? I do believe that there's seasonality. I think that that's important for all ad platforms. I think that if you've been really hammering and hitting like $200, $300 a day on ad spend for a specific book or a specific series for a set length of time, you probably need to pull back a little bit, see what it's doing, see how it's working, and then like reassess. I'm a huge proponent for refreshing and making sure that you're giving fresh material to your audience because advertising gets boring, right? I have like Hulu, or maybe is it Hulu or maybe it's Prime? It's Prime. So I have Prime and they have like ads that show up all the time now because, you have to pay to get rid of the ads and I refuse to do that. And so we have like the same ad showing up every single ad break and it's kind of exhausting. And when you and your kids can actually quote the ad, you know that you're not getting anything new. And personally, I think that's lazy advertising, but that's me. So anyways, I just want to thank you for sticking with us. This summer is really rough and you're doing good. Promise you're doing good. Just keep trying, keep being consistent, keep delivering the message that you're trying to, and make sure that you're connecting with your readers. Hit like and subscribe. And I hope you checked out the social media content video for last time from Mandy. And if you have any questions, let me know and we'll talk about AMS ads the next time I am up. Also, check us out on our TikTok channel. We are trying to grow that over there and give some more tips and stuff away, which is awesome because we love to give tips out, as you know. And again, hit up our Grow Here page and let me know if you have any questions about what we offer. All right, guys, thank you so much. And I hope you're having a great summer.